Well, look who finally came around and pulled their heads out of their asses and finally allowed the Briscoes to be given representation on national TV. This after a great deal of outrage from the wrestling fans. I did cover this last week. The network not allowing post-mortem, even after the man died tragically. It's one thing not to allow the man on TV while he's alive, but after he dies in a tragic accident, you still refuse. The wrestling fans revolted. They were coming for the network's head. I played a clip from Jim Cornette last week. Jim Cornette was ready to was he full of piss and vinegar. But we were all emotional last week. But it appears Warner Brothers Discovery has heard us loud and clear because they did inevitably lift their ban on the Briscoes. It was also reported this week, Meltzer kind of added that it wasn't just the homophobic tweet, but it was also that they wore the fucking rebel flag from time to time, the Confederate flag. I understand this, but the man died. So I'm glad that whatever happened behind the scenes, they were able to pull this together. And by all accounts, this was Tony Khan's doing. Tony Khan had pushed and pushed and pushed. This is what everybody's saying. Tony Khan went out of his way. He just wouldn't let it go. This was a hill that Tony Khan was going to die on. And I respect the fuck out of that. And though Tony Khan didn't quite go into detail about the situation, here's a clip of Tony Khan talking about the Briscoes now being able to be on national TV.
First and foremost, Tony, thank you, for somebody who's a fan and for somebody who's part of this great community, the pro wrestling community. Everything that you've done for the Briscoe family, what you were able to do last week and what you're doing tonight, what would have been Jay Briscoe's 39th birthday. I want to be the first to thank you so much for what you're doing for that family and the tribute that you're going to give to the life and career of Jay Briscoe tonight with his brother and Jay Lethal in the ring together.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, Dave. But honestly, it's the least I could do, and I'm just happy to be able to give a platform to Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal. They both came and requested this match, and it's something special that we can do as a company and as people who care about Jay Briscoe to come together and celebrate his 39th birthday and his life and his legacy. And it's going to be a great match, and it's going to be a great night tonight, AEW Dynamite on TBS with Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal going one-on-one to honor the life and legacy of Jay Briscoe on his 39th birthday.
This is one of those things where you have to give so much respect to Tony Khan. And I've seen a lot of stupid comments out there, too. People are like, oh, I don't believe anything Tony says. Yeah, right. He didn't put... Shut the fuck up, dude. By all accounts, Tony Khan went to bat with the network on this. And I'm sure the network heard the fans on Twitter as well. Because I wasn't the only one. Cornette wasn't the only one bitching. This was a big, big thing. And apparently this did reach the higher-ups, and we got to see Mark Briscoe on AEW. What an emotional match, too. It was fantastic. Mark seemed to be holding up the rest of the locker room. He was the one supporting, like Jay Lethal in the ring. Like, Mark was the supportive one. This was just incredible. In fact, Mark had some comments about this, about his brother's passing after this match. Check out this clip.
Y'all already know family is been beyond important to me. My life, 23 years, me and my brother been riding the roads, making towns, hitting different countries, you know what I mean? And ain't no way that I've been wanting to do this for this long if I ain't had my boy with me the whole time. But now I'm trying to carry on for him. You know what I'm saying? Family is beyond this life is temporary. My brother ain't here with me. I brought my beautiful wife with me, but if my brother ain't here with me as he normally would be, but he's still with me right here. Yeah. And he ain't gone. If I thought he was gone, then I wouldn't be no good. I know he ain't gone. I know he just moved on to the next higher level of existence. So, you know what I mean? That's what keeps me pushing forward.
Very uplifting, dude. Very motivating. He's got his head on right. You know, he's got his head in the right place with this. Jay's not gone. He says he feels him here still. He's just on the next plane of existence. And if you're a spiritual person and you believe in that, whatever religion or non-religion, if you have any kind of spirituality, you believe that there is another plane of existence beyond this point. So it's great to hear that Mark's thinking of it like that. And man, I got to tell you, when he was announced, like I was fine. You know, I was all over it and stuff. Last week was a tough week, but like emotional week. You know, I'm a sensitive guy. But, you know, when Mark came out and Bobby Cruz, it was so weird too. What broke me was Bobby Cruz announcing co-tag team champion. Co-holder of the tag team championships, and then Mark coming out with both belts, I cried like a bitch all over again, you know. So very emotional. It was a nice little tribute. I even seen stupid fans online like, "Oh, you call that a tribute, dude?" They did a 3-hour tribute show the week before. They're not gonna usher everybody out to fucking do their promos all over again and everything like that. You know, they honored Jay by having Mark wrestle in the main event, having a fucking kick-ass match with Jay Lethal, and then the hugs at the end and everything. That was enough. That was fine, along with the 3-hour tribute video, which I have not watched all of yet, but I highly recommend you seek that out as well. And I'm glad the network turned around on this. Apparently, the head of the the content for these networks, the head chief honcho in charge that Tony Khan has to answer to is a woman by the name of Kathleen Finch. And apparently she got the message. And I don't encourage anybody to be too hard on her, because I did just recently read an article with her as well, where she seems to be a pretty strong ally of AEW. In fact, she had read in a story this week, she's the chairman and chief content officer for Warner Brothers Discovery. That's chief content officer, so she's a head honcho. And she spoke with Deadline about AEW and Dana White's Power Slap. Power Slap debuted to pretty shitty numbers, so she had kind of explained that it's just an experiment, that they're just trying to see, they're trying to appease their male audience that they're bringing in for AEW, essentially. So they feel like there's crossover there with the Power Slap, even though I don't give a fuck about it. So that's kind of the idea there, though I've heard Power Slap did much better in the ratings this week. But she had praise for AEW. She had said, "We really play in the sports space. One of the things that we're doing around sports is creating shoulder programming to hold on to those fans. AEW pulls in huge numbers, so we are working with the wrestling team to figure out what new kind of content can we build that's not in a wrestling ring." And she went on to say, "This may surprise you to know that I wasn't a wrestling fan before the job. Duh. I know I seem like a wrestling fan. I don't know about that. But I'm not." I think maybe she was being jokey there, being a little lighthearted. But I did have to learn a lot about the audience, a lot of families that watch wrestling. I was very surprised to learn this. I have a huge respect for the audience. AEW wrestling airs on 2 of our networks, TNT and TBS. On both nights, it kills. Finding something that speaks to that audience, that would be gold. So Kathleen Finch, she's on board with AEW, so don't go and fucking scare her away. She heard you guys loud and clear. Mark and Jay Briscoe are allowed to be represented on national TV now. Thank fucking God. And she seems to be an ally for us wrestling fans, for AEW. She likes it. She has no interest in getting rid of it. She likes the numbers that it brings in. What they're actually trying to do, by the sound of that, is to build content around AEW now. Instead of saying, "Oh, AEW doesn't fit here, so let's get rid of that," like a lot of you fucking internet marks still are convinced is going to happen because, shakeups at the network. No. They love AEW. They want to keep AEW. They want to find other things that AEW fans might want to watch. I think they should continue doing the reality show route myself. Total Divas was a huge hit. Despite, a lot of you fellas probably didn't like it or whatever, but ask anybody. Total Divas and Total Bellas were really huge shows. There's people that know wrestlers and wrestling from that and not actual wrestling. So, you know, they were doing that Cody Rhodes gimmick. They had a show for him. Find a way to do like some sort of backstage, do your own version of a wrestling reality show behind the scenes type thing. I think that would be a really good coup for TNT to pick up, or TBS, you know, to build around Dynamite. And that would benefit AEW too as well. But, you know, just to kind of wrap all this together, it's just a big kind of all-inclusive network talk and Briscoes talk wrap up all in the same kind of clip here. So been all over the place, but really, like, I think at the end of the day, this is a win. And I think the wrestling fans came out in support of the Briscoes in mass numbers. The network heard you. I don't think it was just Tony Khan, you know, pushing and pushing. I really think they heard their audience on Twitter, and they know how vocal we can be and how enthusiastic we are. And that's what they want. I've said this from the very beginning. It was almost a year ago now that, you know, Warner Brothers merged with Discovery, and it was like, oh, AEW's in trouble. And no, because I heard an interview with the David Zaslav saying that he wanted the fandoms. He wanted to build around fandoms, and AEW certainly has a fandom. And that's where we're at right now. They're going to get a nice big fat TV contract and keep things going. And the Briscoes will be able to be mentioned on national TV. And it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. So thank all of you guys for turning out. If you said anything on Twitter or emailed anybody or just fucking prayed or just yelled at the clouds, whatever you did, thank you guys for participating in that, because I think we're in a better place now because of it. And it's good to know that the network has some love for AEW, and we will continue to see some great shit. Hey, thanks for checking out that clip. Don't forget to check out other clips here on the channel. And while you're there, throw a like, throw a subscribe. And don't forget to check out full episodes each and every Sunday of the Pro Wrestling Podcast.